Hey YouTubers, it's Starfire. Um, you probably saw Raven's video about us doing a lot of solo videos this summer because she's on vacation. And I was on vacation when she did that video, but I'm back now. So, and I asked if I could do some videos by myself if like I was watching something or I wanted to contribute in some way, and she said I could. So that's what I'm going to do. Last night I watched the pilot, the pilot and then the first episode of the original Flash TV show from the 90s. I was planning on watching it this summer after I saw after I saw the whole season of the new Flash, because, I feel like it's good for me to see the original since I like old shows and all that stuff. But anyway, I wanted to see it. And so last night I did. And I actually took notes on some of the differences between the original and the new Flash. One of them being, okay, first off, for those that haven't seen the original Flash, John Wesley Shipp plays Barry Allen in the original, and he plays Henry Allen, Barry's dad, in the new Flash. I'm sure most of the people that are watching the new one knew that, but if they didn't, there's some information for you. So anyway, some of the differences were, first off, that Barry has a brother in the original, and his name is Jay Allen. He works on the police force, and that was interesting because in the original, that's Jay, the reason that Barry does what he does in the original with like fighting the villains and doing all that stuff is because of what happens to his brother, and he ends up getting killed, and so he's out to get the guy who killed his brother, and he's going to use his powers and his abilities that he has to find this guy that did that. So that's how that works in the original. He is struck by lightning, but there's no particle accelerator involved. So all of that is different. Yes, he does get struck by lightning. Yes, he gets the super speed and all of his abilities, but it doesn't have anything to do with the particle accelerator. And there are other villains, of course, like Trickster, Mirror Master, all that stuff. But they don't come into play until later in the season, because it is only one season, the original Flash. But it's probably in a different way that they have their abilities than from the particle accelerator, obviously, because that doesn't have anything to do with the original. So, as I watch more episodes, I will figure out how they have their abilities and tell you guys. So, but as of right now, there is no particle accelerator involved, but he did get struck by lightning. Okay. He wasn't in a coma after the accident in the original, like he was in the new one. He actually just was in the hospital for a little bit, felt better, and went home. And his powers didn't show up until a little while after. He was actually walking his dog. Well, the first instance of something different happening with him was when he was in his lab and a coffee cup moved across the table and it broke and the coffee spilled on the wall or something like that. And that, that was different. That was like, whoa, what the heck happened? Then the other time, he was walking his dog, Earl. Yes, he has a dog. And these people were playing a game. These kids were playing a game in the park, and this ball, like, they lost the ball, and the dog was going after it, and Barry's like, that's not our ball, don't do that. And so, like, Earl just kept running and running, and so then Barry took off on his super speed, and that was the first time you saw him speeding. So, so yeah, that's how he discovers his powers. And he runs into a bush. And then the dog is all freaked out because of him running really fast, which I thought was so funny. So yeah. And because of his abilities, Christina McGee, who actually made a couple appearances in the new Flash, her name is Amanda Pays in real life, she actually kind of has the Caitlin character in the original Flash. She's a, like, engineer type scientist, and she's the one who monitors his vitals and all that stuff. She's basically like the physician. So yeah, she pretty much has Caitlin's role in the original. And she helps him kind of learn to control his powers and figure things out. And she got this suit for him, which is a totally different suit than in the new one. The original one has, like, abs and muscles on it. Which, I mean, it does fit to his body, but it just looks different than the one in the new one. So yeah. Iris doesn't have as big of a role in the original, which we've talked about. Raven and I have actually discussed in our Flash videos. It was before I'd seen the original, of course, but I asked my dad about it because he likes the original, and he didn't really even remember much about Iris. And I found out before I even watched it that she was only in, like, one episode, which is the pilot. So the fact that she doesn't have that big of a role in the original kind of makes me sad, because she's so prominent in the new one, and she's basically the one that makes Barry who he is. Like he said to her, without her, there wouldn't be the Flash. So, I mean, she plays such a huge role in that side of him, and just Barry in general. I mean, it's just going to be weird to me watching the original and not seeing Iris. She's not a reporter in the original. She's like an artist, kind of like an artist. She does stuff with, like, computer graphics and things like that. But the thing that bugged me was, like, they kind of took a break for a little bit in the pilot, and then they got back together, and everything was going good. And then in the first episode, she's in Paris, and she's not coming back. Like, he gets a postcard from her saying that she's all settled in Paris because of, like, her art thing, and she's not planning on coming back. So that's how they, like, got rid of her character. Just not really with any explanation. I mean, I'm assuming it had something to do with art. She wouldn't just go to Paris for no reason. But I don't know. I don't like how they handled it. I wish that she was had a bigger part in it, because in the comics she does. So I don't know if she did in the original Flash comics. I'm sure she would have, if Barry and Iris are, like, this mega awesome couple like Lois and Clark are. She probably did, I would assume. I mean, they were married and stuff. So yeah, I don't like how they dealt with that. But in the new one, she's getting the star treatment, which is good. I mean, at least for the most part, she is. There are people that still hate on her, but we won't go into that because we've already talked about that. So I guess you could say that because Iris isn't a big part of it, Barry's with Tina, or Christina McGee. So all the Barry Caitlin fans of the new show can rejoice, because he's with Christina McGee in the original Flash. And she's kind of like that character in the new one. I mean, her husband died. It's not like Ronnie, where he didn't actually die, but Christina's husband actually died. So, although it actually might be kind of cute, because if Iris isn't any part of it anymore, then I'm okay with him being with Christina, because she actually helps him and stuff like that. But in the new Flash, it's Barry and Iris all the way, because of their history, because of their chemistry, because of, you know, how much he loves her, all of that. And you guys know how much both of us love Barry and Iris. But in the original, since it is different, and there is only Iris in the pilot, I might actually kind of be okay with Barry and Tina being together. At least in the original. I'm not saying that it's okay in the new one, because it's not. Sorry. But anyways, yes. So, oh, and one little thing I wanted to mention, when he's first talking to Christina on the phone, she gives him an address to, like, meet for their appointment so that, you know, she can check him out and figure out what's going on, why he's got these abilities. The name, or the street name of the address is Garrick. And I was telling my parents, I'm like, I thought that was cool that they included that, because Jay Garrick was the very first Flash. So it was cool that it was like, oh, it's Garrick at something, the numbers, something Garrick Avenue. And I was like, Garrick, that's so cool. So yeah, I wanted to point that out. Barry created his own insignia for the suit, which is the, you know, the circle with the lightning bolt. He actually created that in the original. Not like Cisco. Oh, and I guess you could say that his friend Julio that he works with in the lab could be kind of like Cisco's character, but not really. He's similar, but he's not that close. But if you're looking at it from that standpoint, he would be Cisco and Christina would be Caitlin. There's no Wells, but yeah. Okay. I already talked about the reason why he starts to go after the villains is because his brother died. And he created his own insignia. So yeah, I've pretty much covered everything. I think that the original's good. For being a 90s show, the effects are pretty cool. Yes, it is dated, but that doesn't really bother me much, because half the TV shows that I watch are old. So, are either my age or older than me. So, and yes, the effects in the new Flash are amazing. They do such a great job with the effects in the new show. But for the time that the original was in, the effects were good. And I think that's why it costed it. I think that's why it cost them so much money, was because because of all the effects and everything that they were using. And that's why it only ended up lasting one season. Well, that, and because they kept moving it around to different nights, so it lost ratings. But yeah, I think that it's got pretty good effects for being 1990. So yeah. I will try to do more videos as I watch more episodes and give you more details about how it's different from the new one. And yeah, I hope everybody is having an amazing summer, and we are going to try to keep this channel as active as we possibly can, even though she's gone right now and it's just me or it's just her. Like, we're still going to do videos. We're still going to just, you know, get these things out to you guys, because we want to keep it active, and we don't want to lose subscribers. So, we hope that you'll keep watching, and I hope everybody is having a great day and a great summer, and yeah. So, Starfire out.